Hi, I'm Matt Grant from Sailrite, and today we're going to talk about the Sailrite 111 sewing machine. This would be a very unusual case if the cams in the top of the machine have gone out of rotation, which could potentially cause the machine to sew in reverse instead of forward when the reversing lever is in its position of normal rest. This machine has a couple of parts removed from it. There's a block and a bolt that goes into this arrangement here, but it will have nothing to do with what I'm going to be showing you, so we'll ignore that. However, in order to access the parts, we do need to remove this back cover plate. You can see Eric's already pulled the screws out that hold the cover plate on, and there are a bunch of them. And there's even one under here that we can't get to until we slide the shaft out of the way. So the next thing we need to do is slide the back shaft out. Before we do that, we don't want to lose our relative position of this slit in the clamp, because we want to get that roughly lined up again when we're done. I'm going to mark it on both sides just in case one of the marks disappears. Plus that will help me to find the centering of it again by marking it this way. Okay, do that with a permanent marker. Then the next step is we have to release this collar. Notice there's no play in it right now. And this collar is what controls that. So I'm going to loosen the set screws on this. Now I'll have a little bit of play in it, as you can see there. And now what we need to do is loosen this clamp. Pry a little bit there to loosen it up. And now this shaft, again, normally there'd be a block engaging here, and there is not in this case, so ignore that, but you'll see the block come out. Now what I want to do is pull this all the way out. Okay, and leave that there. Now we can see that flat-headed screw. There's a gasket behind this. You don't want to lose the gasket either. And this you have to sort of peel it off like I did there. And let's just pull the gasket off so we don't get it damaged. And we'll set that aside. Okay, now we can see into the machine. Okay, once we have the inside open, we need to find the cams that could potentially cause the problem where the machine sews in reverse when you have it set forward. But let's look at the cams that are here. We have a cam up here on the upper shaft that controls the timing of the machine. We have another cam here that is the lift cam. You can see that shaft rotate non-concentrically around there. And then we have the feed cam, which I believe is the issue, this feed cam right here. But first, let's figure out how these are set. What you want to do is you want to look at this cam, because one of the screws is on a flat, and we want to find the one that's on a flat. You notice that screw, there are quite a few threads standing proud, so it's not recessed very deeply. And this screw is much deeper into the piece, which means that that screw is most likely on the flat, and we know that it is. You want to turn this so that that screw that's on the flat, there's a flat on the shaft that it sits on, is facing directly back. When that screw is facing directly back, you should see one screw of the feed cam, and actually it's usually either right in line with it or a slight difference, in this case slight bit higher, which would be correct. And those should be lined up like that. Now how do I find which screw this is? Well, if I turn this clockwise, you'll see there's another screw here that's got a score mark cut through it horizontally. So the screw I'm concerned about is the one that is just to this side, as I'm turning the wheel counterclockwise, of the screw with the score mark in it. And that's where my flat one should be here. So when I have this set with the flat facing back, this screw should be roughly in that position. If it isn't, I need to loosen those screws and set it there. Now, to check the positioning of this cam, what you want to do is rotate to the point that the screw, once this one's set, that the screw with the score is facing straight back. And then the other screw over here with the score, you can see that one has a score too, should be facing straight back and down a little bit. So once you set those in those positions, everything should go back to sewing normally.
This video has been produced by Sailrite.